Hi, I'm Cheris with the Kids Social Technology magazine. I'm here today to talk with Larry Daddy Estes on something called nomophobia. How are you doing today?
Well, first, I'm excited. I am ecstatic. I'm here with Charis. I mean, you're interviewing me from the Kids Social Technology magazine. Everybody's heard of this magazine before, right? Yeah. So with this prestigious magazine, I'm very excited. Can't wait to get this interview started. Nomophobia. What is it that you'd like to talk to discuss about nomophobia?
So, what is nomophobia?
Well, let me put it like this. You ever see somebody like this all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Just in their device, and you're talking to them, and they're just in it, and they just can't seem to put this thing down. What it is nomophobia. If you want to break it down, nomo, so no mobile phobia. It is the fear. The word phobia means fear. Excuse me, fear of. So it's the fear of being detached from your smart device. Doesn't have to just be a cell phone. It could be a cell phone. It could be a laptop, computer, any kind of smart device or any kind of device. It's the just the fear of being away from it, and it makes people nervous. Like, oh, I've got to get my phone. I've got to just check it. I got to look at it. They get nervous if they don't have the phone. They get anxious, and they may even start getting depressed. Like, just I'm just not around it. I just it's a real problem. It really is. So that's high level view of what nomophobia is.
Okay. Well, how did nomophobia start?
How did it start? So years ago, the phones didn't look like this. They weren't very pretty. They were big, but much bigger than this, and they only did like one function. It used to be where a smartphone wasn't smart. They were called dumb phones, and they could only make calls. That was pretty much it. They evolved, and they could start making calls, and they start text messaging. Then somebody embedded a camera in one, and then all of a sudden they got connected to the internet, and then they started. So as time progressed and as the technology progressed, they did more, and because they did more, people were more captured on these devices. Now on this device right here, not only can you make a phone call, you can also, like I said, text message. You can take pictures. You can be connected to Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. You've got your navigation on here. It's just a connection to everything. So the generation that seems to be more have the higher cases of nomophobia, Miss Charis, is Generation Z, and those are people that are between 25 to 15 or 15 to 25 years old, and it's because they grew up with this technology, and and yes, you're a cute reporter, and they didn't know how it was to be without these smart devices. So that's how it pretty much started.
Okay. Does nomophobia affect people all over the world the same?
You okay?
Hmm.
Okay. Glad you're okay. So, your question was, does nomophobia affect people all over the world the same? So, it's a very tricky question. Yes and no. So, nomophobia really, there's a good connection with the digital divide. Um, so what that means is some people have access to the digital technology, and some people don't have access to the digital technology. Do you need some water? Okay. So people who don't have access typically aren't affected because they're not used to having something like this that they can stay tethered to. People who do have access to this, and especially if they fit in that Generation Z time period, they are more prone to have a nomophobia and have that addiction. So, kind of a trick question is not necessarily can it happen in a different country or can it happen in different parts of the world? Absolutely, depending on if they have access to smartphones and the technology.
Okay. What have you heard about nomophobia at work?
Well, some people have lost their jobs because of nomophobia. Have you heard about that? Um, and what I mean by that is sometimes, you know, you'll have people that are so addicted to their smart device and they just can't be away from this thing that they're on it all the time and they're distracted and it's caused them to make mistakes and it has caused productivity to be down. And sometimes companies have had to make hard decisions when people are caught with it. I know my job working for a financial institution, a bank, a credit union. Any frontline employees, they have to put their smart devices away so they're not distracted. You don't want to make mistakes on people's money. If you go in restaurants, you don't want to see people on their phone when you're trying to take their orders. So a lot of companies have instituted policies where, hey, if you're working, you got to put that smart device away.
Okay, what about in school?
In school, there's been a couple of mixed bags. So there's an article that I've documented where there's been an increase cases on students cheating with iPhones, using iPhones to find answers, to text others, to get the information. Again, because they cannot bear to be apart from this technology, they have used it to take the easy and shortcuts from there. But also the good thing that can come out of it is there are policies where educators have identified that there is an issue with nomophobia. So instead of saying we're just going to take all the smart devices away, because guess what, the students are going to find something else. They're going to have a watch. They're going to, who knows if there's something embedded in the glasses. There's just so many different smart devices that just keep coming out. So some educators are trying to embrace and use those technologies. You, for example, you have been using your smart tablet and devices during COVID-19 to learn from school, to learn. So some educators are using those devices to incorporate that into education.
Okay, is there a cure for nomophobia?
Short answer, yes. Just like any other phobia, any other situation like that, go seeing someone for help, discussing your issues. A lot of times, people who have nomophobia, they have just an issue with loneliness. There are other underlying issues that need to be uncovered, that they need to talk about, they need to deal with, and they need to have a balance between using the smart devices and the real world, going out there, just interacting with people, because a lot of times that loneliness and depression will make the situation even worse.
Okay, our last question. Overall, what are your concluding thoughts on nomophobia and its effects on society?
Overall, it's a problem. It could be a potential health crisis, but we can take care of it if we start taking action now. That action being to educate others about nomophobia, to talk to people and say, hey, you may want to be conscious of how many times that you check your phone per day. How many times are you checking your phone per hour with no reason? Studies show that I think it's about 30 some percent of people that check their phones more than 4 times per hour with no reason. So when you start seeing people fall into those habits, just talking to them and engaging them, and then ultimately, again, I like the ideas of the educators trying to bring smart devices into school so that there's not a separator, but it's like, here's what we need to do, and here's how we need to handle it responsibly. So I just think there needs to be more responsibility, there needs to be more education, and we need to understand that smart devices are not going away. They are here to stay. So how do we coexist with all of our smart technology and the issues that can come along with it? So that is my overall thought. That's all I got. You got any other questions for me?
Nope.
Well, thanks again. I am so excited that you sat here and took your time to interview me. And I hope we can do it again in the future.
Okay, I am Chair Cestus signing off.
Thanks.